Billionaire investor Peter Thiel, and one of the original PayPal founders. He predicts Bitcoin to 100x to $4 million per coin. In fact, he was one of the keynote speakers at the Bitcoin Miami conference in 2022. How many of you were at that conference? I was there with my brother. It was pretty lit. There was probably over 20,000 people in the audience. We had a lot of Bitcoin influencers there. You even had Serena Williams, Francis Ngannou, you name it. It was pretty awesome, to say the least. But anyways, let's break down this major story, and then I'm going to be sharing a little bonus prediction from you from Michael Saylor, predicting Bitcoin reaching $5 million per coin. And if we have time, I'll even throw in a little Cathie Wood update prediction as well about Bitcoin hitting 1.48 million per coin, which is her bullish scenario. But first and foremost, billionaire PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel shared the list of enemies stopping Bitcoin from rising 100x. This was last year while speaking at the Bitcoin 2022 conference of Miami, Florida. Quoting him here, the enemies list is a list of people who I think are stopping Bitcoin. There is a lot of them. They tend to have nameless, faceless, bureaucratic perspectives, which of course is one of the ways in which they hide. Now check it, he said, we are going to try to expose them and realize that this is sort of what we have to fight for Bitcoin to go up 10x or 100x from here. Now, FYI, at the time he gave the speech, Bitcoin was hovering just above 40,000, probably close to the $42,000 level. So 100x from the time he made the prediction would mean a $4 million plus Bitcoin price action. Now, the central banks are going bankrupt. We're at the end of the fiat money regime. Preach. The first person on the list is Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett. Thiel put up a picture of Buffett with two of his most famous quotes about Bitcoin: rat poison, and I don't own any, and I never will. He opined, I think the sociopathic grandpa of Omaha, that's the best name by the way, is perhaps the most honest and most direct in it. Thiel further noted Buffett has a bias that makes him long on the fiat money system, and money managers who follow Berkshire Hathaway's executive advice will pretend it's complicated to invest into Bitcoin. Now, the next person on the list of Bitcoin enemies is the infamous JP Morgan Chase CEO, Jamie the Tapeworm Dimon. Thiel put Dimon's picture up with the following quote: I don't call them cryptocurrencies, I call them crypto tokens because currencies have rules of law behind them, central banks, and tax with authorities. Now, Jamie Dimon also once called Bitcoin a pet rock and threatened any of his employees at JP Morgan would be fired for trading Bitcoin. And that same week, he was purchasing over 400 million worth of Bitcoin for his trading desk. So listen to none of these fools. They know what's up. They understand the power of Bitcoin, but they're just here to deceive you. The next picture he put up, you may find this interesting, is the BlackRock CEO, Mr. Lawrence, aka Larry Fink, with the following quote: I see huge opportunities in a digitized crypto blockchain related currency, and that's where I think this is going. Now, interestingly enough, Larry Fink is the CEO of the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock. He once called Bitcoin an index for money laundering. He was heavily anti-Bitcoin and anti-crypto, but now he has changed his stance, complete 180, embracing Bitcoin and looking to launch their own spot Bitcoin ETF, as well as an Ethereum ETF. Now, next up, here's what he shared. The PayPal co-founder added that Fink's quote is somewhat representative of the whole genre of Bitcoin attacks that need further context, stating that pro-blockchain is an anti-Bitcoin term very typically. Thiel then brought up environmental, social, and governance standards, elaborating the label they've come up with, and perhaps the real enemy is ESG. I think that ESG is just a hate factory. We all know they were pumping that massive FUD. Even Elon was buying into this narrative, right? Would stop accepting Bitcoin payments to buy Teslas, right? He stressed you can always ask the questions, what's the difference between ESG and CCP, the Chinese Communist Party? When you think ESG, you should be thinking CCP. So much respect to Thiel for calling them out on this. You got to have balls. It is the finance gentocracy that runs the country through whatever silly virtual signaling hate factory to them like ESG that they have, the billionaire concluded. This is what I would call, and what you have to think of as, a revolutionary youth movement. And we have to just go out from this conference and take over the world. So there you have it. Now, I must also share, Peter Thiel dumped the majority of his Bitcoin position at the height roughly at around the time of the conference, because that's what I read. So I just wanted to share that to be 100% transparent. Now for Michael Saylor. Saylor revealed 3 catalysts recently, which will take the Bitcoin price to 5 million per coin. Here are the 3 catalysts. Spot Bitcoin ETF approval, which is inevitable. Again, 90% likelihood we get the approval in January. Then number 2, banks custody and lend against Bitcoin as collateral, which we all know is coming soon. And number 3, fair value accounting rules, which have already been approved. So there you have it. This alone, those 3 factors can send Bitcoin to 5 million per coin.